All right. Hi. For those of you who celebrate Lunar New Year, Happy Lunar New Year. And for my Chinese speakers, 新年快乐. I don't know if we have any Chinese speakers here. Yes, I speak Chinese. Shut up. Um, yeah. Unfortunately, I am not actually going to visit my relatives because unfortunately I have some issues. So instead today, what I'm gonna do is to show you 10 chest traps that you should absolutely know. And right here on the screen, on the right hand side, you should be able to see the 10 traps that we're gonna cover today. Like, I'm just gonna preface this video by saying this. The whole point of learning opening traps, it's not to the point of learning opening traps is not to play them and hope that your opponent falls into these traps. In fact, what I'm gonna do is for some of these traps that are good. Sorry, for some of the traps that are not good, I'm actually gonna show you how you're supposed to counter it. So, yeah. Alright. With that out of the way, let's start the video. So the first one, don't steal the coins. This is the Blackburn Shilling Gambit. It is actually a trap for the wrong button. It is actually a trap for the black pieces. We go e4, e5, and it's kind of laggy, so I hope. Okay, is it still lagging? Okay, a little bit. Okay, it's not lagging anymore. All right, we're just gonna leave that in the video. It's gonna be really funny. All right, yeah, putting the pawns in the center, not bad. Knight f3, attacking the pawn. Knight c6, defending the pawn. Bishop c4, targeting the f7 square, and now and now black plays a move knight to d4. This pawn is hanging, but if white takes it, oh, you realize also now the bishop and the knight team on the f7 square. So if black does literally nothing, you take and you fork the queen and the rook. And apparently the engine says you should actually play the move bishop takes f7 here, stop them from castling, and then just develop like normal. Okay, but black is not just gonna sit around doing nothing. Black is gonna play the move queen to g5. Here, white should just take the pawn on f7, delivering check, forcing the king to move to one of these two squares. And apparently d8 is better. And then castle and give the knight. But of course, white can also play the more obvious move knight takes f7, forking the queen and the rook. Now black is gonna play move queen takes g2, and the pawn and the rook are forked. Obviously, what and even the engine saying white should play the move d3, give up the rook, and probably even give up the entire game. Like, yeah, you're just down a rook here. I mean, you can take this rook, but I mean, someday you can take that rook. Like, I mean, d5. You can take the rook. Or actually, probably shouldn't. You should just take this pawn, and then just actually no. White doesn't actually have time to. White actually does not have time to take the rook, because after this, yeah, you need to waste a lot of time. But like, here, after this, you have to like go here, b4, you trap the bishop. I mean, not really. If you go here, you just take, and you win the knight. That's very nice. But okay. However, white would probably play a more obvious move. Oops, hang on. White would probably play a more obvious move, rook to f1. And now, black will play a move queen takes e4 check. The only two legal moves is to block the queen, which obviously white does not want to do, ideally, so block the bishop. But this is checkmate. Then the bishop cannot take because otherwise the king hangs. Okay, so how should white avoid this trap? Well, white can do a few things. First of all, the easiest one is to just take this knight. after e takes d4, this pawn is really stupid. And stop, and alternatively, you can just keep the tension between the knights. If they take you, play queen takes f3, and well, you develop with a checkmate threat, and you can go on with the game. Like for instance, knight f6, queen b3. Okay, running queen b3 is the second top entry move. I would probably play queen b3 just attacking, but yeah, after castles or just oops, not that move, or just knight takes d4, white is better. Okay, so the next trap is called minor spelling mistake, opinion invalid. At least I think it's a minor spelling mistake from what I understand. This is the England gambit. Well, I think it's supposed to be an A instead of a U, but I think someone just did a stupid. So what happened? So the England gambit starts with d4 and e5. Actually, there are two traps here. Alright, in this position, like for instance, white has a lot of ways to play it, such as e3, just declining the gambit. This is bad. This to decline the gambit, that's also bad. Knight f3, decline the gambit, this is also really bad because now you just play e4 and you chase the knight around, and like I don't know. Apparently you should go back to the home square, but oh yeah, no, because I think if you come to the center, your knight gets trapped. Yeah, d6, and oops, you cannot go here, cannot go here. You can go here actually. Knight c4. No, it's just really bad. And then d5. Yeah, no, this is just a really bad position. No, the knight is not trapped. I'm stupid. So, other than that, white should absolutely accept the gambit. Knight c6, attacking the pawn. Knight f3, defending the pawn. Queen to e7, attacking the pawn. Bishop f4, defending the pawn. Queen to b4 check. So forking the bishop and the king, and the only way to save both of them is to come here. Queen takes pawn, and now if white plays the move bishop to c3, they are completely lost because of the move bishop to b4. You cannot take the queen, otherwise you hang your king, and if you take this, you just get that taken. Actually, that's not even the best move. You should just play knight takes b4. I don't understand why. Oh yeah, because of this. Because otherwise you fork the king and the rook, and actually if that happens, you if you just do nothing, no, you actually have to give up the queen completely. No, king d2, knight takes a1, and yeah, you just die. Okay, so obviously white should not take this bishop. There are a couple of moves that you can play in, but unfortunately white is gonna lose this rook, and I don't understand why people play this move. Apparently this is played quite often. I mean, like, come on, like, technically speaking, this doesn't work. Even like, let's just say, like, you know, like, let's just say even if black takes this, you take, you're still down in exchange. I mean that, like, even tactically speaking, that does not work. And actually if white does play the move queen to d2, black should take here. Now the queen is pinned to the king, and if you dare to take, you get mated. Okay, so where did white go wrong? Well, first of all, Stockfish recommends the move bishop to g5, attacking the queen. Even though there's two attackers on this pawn and one defender, the thing is the queen is under attack, so if you want to initiate the attack, you have to take the queen, which just obviously it just hangs the queen. So you don't want to do that. Otherwise, bishop to f4 is also a good move. The engine says both these moves are really good. Oh, oops. The engine says that both these moves are really good. And after queen b4, this is still okay. Bishop d2, this is still okay. But after queen takes b2, white should play the move knight c3, defending the rook, and the queen is kind of stuck now. Okay, there's actually another trap in the England gambit. Instead of playing the move knight to c6, black can also play the move to c5. Now, so maybe you saw the trap earlier, and you're like, okay, I should just defend the pawn right now, in case they want to go back into that line. And after d6, e takes d6. Now the move knight to e7. Yeah, that just, like, the pawn can take the knight, but if the pawn does take the knight, well, it attacks the queen. But look at this queen. They're staring at each other. And if only we could just let the king not defend the queen, because you realize, oh, the only thing that's defending the queen is a king. By playing the move bishop f2 check. Bishop takes f2 check, and the only move is to take, and the queen is lost. And just a quick note, I think I saw this tactic. I saw these people, like, people getting into this position and falling for another counter trap. It goes something like e4, e3, that interchangeable, and this bishop looks free, but you cannot take it because of bishop to b5 check. Discover attack on the queen. Discover attack on the queen, and just here, if you block the pawn, you can actually take the pawn, because the bishop is going to die anyway, so you may as well grab a pawn. Knight takes c6, and rook takes queen. And, like, after I don't know, literally any move, then king takes, and white is up one pawn, which is kind of crazy. Apparently people were falling for this trap when they're trying to play this trap. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a trap. It's just forgetting that the bishop can do this. But yeah. Okay. So that's the second trap. So what should white do? Well, first of all, if you get into this position, you should absolutely not take the knight. You should just play the move knight to c3. Now you're defending the queen, and you're actually threatening to take this knight. So, black is obliged to play c takes d6, and now black has an isolated queen's pawn, which is usually very weak, and you're gonna be able to take advantage of it very quickly. Like, for instance, actually I don't really see a way to instantly take advantage of it, and just has to play a move knight to a4, just trying to grab the bishop, because I guess it's defending the pawn and it's really weak. I don't know. I'm just thinking that's probably why. Or just, continue with development, e3, and then just bring your bishop out. White is still up a pawn anyway, and okay, yeah, especially this weak isolated pawn, and white's up a pawn. Otherwise, actually, going back to this position, white should actually play the move knight to c3. So after knight to c3, this trap does not work because, well, you try and take the queen now. Oh, the knight can move backwards. You take. And in this position, white is just up 2 pieces. Okay, that's very cool. So the next trap I want to show you is very interesting, because this is actually also the shortest game between two grandmasters. It starts with the move d4, knight f6, and the really weird move knight to d2. This is not a good move. Usually your knight belongs here only after you play the move c3, so that you can support the center, or you should just put it on or you should just put the knight on c3, but you don't usually want to play c4 first, or you should just play knight f3. So, seeing this really weird move, black plays a move e5. This is not a good move. So after takes and the move knight to g4, you're attacking the pawn. So actually, sometimes what white may try and do is like, okay, because if you know anything about the intercontinental ballistic missile trap, it's like it looks something like this: push, take, and after h3, you just sacrifice a knight. Apparently it doesn't work here. I mean, it doesn't because of this, like, come on. But yeah, the knight can get kind of annoying there, and sometimes you just want to kick it away, even if it means you give back your pawn. So after h3, we do not take this pawn. No, instead we sacrifice the knight. And so first of all, you realize the queen is under attack, and the queen has literally no square to go to. So the only way to save the queen is to take the knight. This wonders queen to h4, g3, and you just take. It's mate. Okay, so first of all, in this shortest game between two grandmasters, after h3 and knight e3, white just resigned the game because yeah, you're not gonna be able to beat a grandmaster down the queen or down the king. I mean, you know what I mean by down the king. All right, shut up. And yeah, this game only lasted for 4 moves, and this game is played by Lazard, hence the name Lazard, hence the name of the opening, Lazard Gambit. Okay, so where did white go wrong? Well, first of all, white should not have played the move knight to d2. White should have just played the move c4 or c3. I mean, if you want to play the move knight to d2, you would want to play the move c3. I mean, it's not amazing, but yeah, now you can probably play knight to d2. You can also play the move knight f3. Yeah. And yeah, white should not play the move knight to d2. And after here, a second gambit is good. But after knight g4, you cannot kick the knight away because you see what happens. So white should just play the move e4, just giving the pawn back. And apparently, yeah, okay, never mind. Engine says you can play with h5, but yeah, just knight takes. And this position apparently is still better for white, even though white played the move knight to d2, which is wild. I mean, I guess f4 and you have a lot of space. Queen h4 is not deadly because you have g3. And yeah, actually, after g3 you have 2 pieces hanging. So yeah, you don't want to play that move. And yeah, this is actually the shortest game between two grandmasters, and also a really silly trap. Okay, the next trap is called Vegetalio. I'm sorry, Italians, if I butchered the name. So we're gonna take a look at this with the white pieces first. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6. Okay. This is a 2 knights attack. I mean, I think we all know this part. Knight g5. Threatening, like, if you do nothing, you get forked. Okay. So, black has to do something about it. Queen e7 doesn't really do anything. Okay, let me just get this over with real quick. If the move knight takes e4 is played, do not take this knight. Do not. Play the move bishop takes f7, check. This weakens the king as he has to go to e7 and then play the move d4. If you think h6 will solve the issue, yeah. h6 doesn't do anything because the knight the knight is hanging, and if after this, black thinks that he can take this knight, no, he cannot, because our bishop takes g5 and with no way to save the queen. Okay, that's good. And actually, not just no way to save the queen, there's probably also no way to save the king. I mean, you just take the bishop and like the king is exposed. You have the queen. And you have the queen for 2 minor pieces. Actually, yeah, no, for 1 minor piece. Sorry, not 2. And you're just completely winning. All right. Let me just. So I was just gonna get that straight first. So there's also bishop c5, the Traxler, but we're gonna take a look at the main line d5. E takes c5. And now the fried liver enters with knight takes d5, which looks like a very natural move, but it fails in knight takes f7. I mean, you probably have seen this one before. Queen f3. The only move is king e6, and then you just apply more pressure on the knight, like knight b4, and then castles, and then c6, and something like this. You probably have seen this. And what ends up happening is that you'll actually be able to win this knight back, and the king is weak, so you're going to be able to checkmate it. Okay, but that's not what we're here for. Now we're gonna swap to the black pieces. Black, knowing that they should not take the pawn back. Well, they actually have a few moves here. The main line is knight to a5, which apparently is the top engine move. I don't understand why. But if I were to guess, you're gonna play knight to a5, attack the bishop, and it's like move somewhere to be able to save itself. Like after this, take, and then oh, apparently you should take with b, not with knight. I mean, I guess I would take a knight, but like you're gonna use your lead in development here. Like your pieces are open. Your pieces are open. Your bishops are ready. Your queen is ready. Like you have a lot of open space. While black has only developed these two pieces, put 0 pawns in the center. Like this pawn is still on its home square, and like this queen's open. I mean, yeah, white can castle and like I don't know, bishop c5, and then I like then castle the king, and then like sign attack as well. But yeah, this position is relatively equal. But another way that black can play it is to move knight to d4. So what white's gonna try now is like, oh my god, oh wow, wait, can I play the move d6, threatening to take this pawn and win another pawn, and threaten and not threaten checkmate, and threaten this fork on f7? Oh my goodness, this must be a great move. Yeah, but black will play the move queen takes d6. Wait, but you're still forked. And if white dares to do this, queen to c6, forking the bishop and the pawn, just like the black pawn shilling gambit. So if they take the rook, again, same idea. Come here, the rook has to move to save itself, and then come here with check. And the only ways to block the check is to lose your queen or get mated in the exact same way. And okay, let's just say white is smart, and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna allow it. I'm just gonna castle. Then you can play with queen takes c4, and after knight takes h8, this knight is kind of trapped. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can play the move queen to g8. I mean, it's a really bad move, but if you really wanted to ensure that the knight is dead, you can play the move queen to g8. There's no way out. Okay, I mean, after like c6, knight c6, and then like d4, you can just like e takes d4, and then like I don't know, some random developing move. Yeah, you can then now you can take the knight back. I mean, yeah, this queen looks really stupid, but what happened here is that black has traded two minor pieces. Sorry, their rook for two minor pieces, which is good. Usually before we head to the end game, like usually the rooks only get involved in the end game because you see it's blocked by the pawn, and this rook's also blocked by the pawn. And yeah, so that's one way. I mean, obviously this is not good. Please don't play queen g8. But I'm just saying, if you really wanted to trap the knight, you can play the move queen to g8. And yeah, so here's a question: what should white do here? Well, white should play the move c3, and black's gonna counterattack the bishop. And apparently the engine says to go back to the home square, but they said trading is okay as well. And then like d takes d5, and then queen takes d. wait, what the hell? Queen takes d5? And why? Oh, because if you take, and you take, and if you take, there's this, and there's also this. I mean, I guess this. Yeah, bishop takes g7, and yeah, you're winning. And actually, yeah, black's winning. So, yeah, if you want to trade, you just take, and then just like queen takes d5, you should not take this. You should not take this knight, otherwise you get absolutely demolished. Just castle, and if you're playing here as black, for the love of God, do not play queen takes e5. And if you're wondering why, because rook to e1 and you get pinned. All right. So yeah, this is one of the ways you can play against a fright liver. It's more of a trappy line, but well, yeah. So that's how you counter fry the fright liver. Okay, I mean that's stupid. I mean that's a stupid way to put it. All right. Okay. So here's the next one. Here's actually a really fun opening to play. So have you ever seen this opening before? 1f4. This is called the Bird's opening. One of the ways you can play against it is the move e5. Just gambiting a pawn, you take, and you gambit another pawn, you take. And there are a few ways to play it. You can take this pawn back and like go here, and if white does nothing, you get mated like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, so you but I mean it's very easily started with a move like knight f3, and then yeah, you just don't go that. So yeah, but one of my favorite ways to play it is instead of doing that, we are gonna play with knight to f6. This pawn's hanging. Yeah, absolutely. The pawn's hanging. Queen take, but then after this, we're gonna target a new square. Remember, keep the g3 square in mind. Like, remember when you play f4, this diagonal gets weak. And in that line earlier, we abused the fact that this square is weak. Now we're gonna shift our focus to this square. This is a bit, I wouldn't really call this a repertoire, but like, you should really check out this gambit. It's called the Langhelt Gambit. It's actually a pretty solid way to play against the bird. Actually, in the first place, white shouldn't even accept the gambit, but okay, let's say you do. After here, white has a lot of moves, and apparently the most played move is knight f3, which already is not good because of bishop to d6, and right here you already have the threat of bishop g3 check, take, and then you come. Okay, so right now, white has to find a way to prevent me, and probably my favorite one is a move d4. Yeah, this is probably gonna look really stupid because d4. This is so stupid. All right. Yeah, it's covered twice, but it only defended one time. So really, if either piece takes, I don't really think it matters, right? Yeah, I don't think it matters which piece takes. Actually, no. If the knight takes, check. King comes out, checkmate. That's really nice. And now, if the rook takes, I mean, queen g3 check, king d2. Knight e4 check, king e3, and then knight f2 check. Sorry, that's not king e3. Oops, sorry. King e3, and then knight f2. Yeah, so after queen e1, you can now play the move knight to g4 check. And yeah, you need to save your queen. Apparently king to d3 is also good. If king to d2, you just take, and then take, you win a rook. Okay, that's very nice. So you have to play a move king to d. So if you want to save the queen, you have to play a move king to d2, and then you just grab this. And if you take the queen, well, you just get forked. So that's nasty. So yeah, you just win a rook at the end of the day. Oh, oops, that's not supposed to happen. No, you just no knight, queen takes h2. No, you don't trade the queens. I'm stupid. All right. And yeah, this position is winning because black has a rook for a pawn and a minor piece. I think it's this one. Yeah, and a minor piece, and that's really good. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the most fun ways to play against a Birds opening. I tried it a bit myself. I mean, I'm only 1,000, but I tried it against a player who played the Birds opening once. It just they just died. They just completely died. All right, so yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, so this is Birds caught the Birds flu because yeah, d4 is one of the ways you can play. Actually, so let's talk about this. All right, really briefly. In this position, White should play a move e3 or d3. Both of these moves work, like because now you actually cannot come to this square, and so now you cannot play this because otherwise, yeah, you just lose a piece. All right, now you actually really lose a piece. You should then White should play something like knight to g4. You cannot kick the knight away because this check and you die. All right, and actually yeah, after that there's knight f2, but yeah, really fun opening. I really love it, and also like this guy's also under attack. Like it's really fun. I'm sorry, this is really fun stuff. You should check it out. Like it's really good. All right, I really love this opening. All right, okay, on to our next trap. The next trap is the other Lasker sacrificed the queen. If you know who Edward Lasker is, you would know about his legendary game where he just put a queen here and sacrificed it on h7 when the king is castled, and then after that just then immortal king Han all the way to like somewhere around here, and then played king d2 checkmate, which was kind of crazy. I mean if you know that game, yeah, that's cool. All right, so the next one is the other Lasker, which this trap is named after. Is also known as Emmanuel Lasker. d4, d5, c4, the Queen's Gambit, and then e5. Actually both these captures are okay. This is called the Alvin counter gambit. White should take this way because that's just a free pawn. I mean, White can also take this way, but then after takes, you're no longer down a pawn. Sorry, you're no longer up a pawn. I mean, if this, then this. I think no. Actually, apparently you should play queen takes d1. Okay, okay, and then you should play queen takes d1 and try and undermine this pawn. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you'll be down. Yeah, no. White will be up a pawn, but this pawn is really weak because double pawns are bad and stuff. I don't know. Look, I'm 1,000. What do you want me to say? All right. So yeah. White takes here. This is a better move, and then the move d4. Now, this pawn is really annoying. The knight cannot come here because White's playing with c4, so usually you want to play with knight c3. So White tries to trade it off by the move e3, and now Black plays the move bishop to b4 check. You cannot block the knight here. You can block the knight here if you wanted to. That's a second top engine move, but you can if you wanted to Bottas gambit, you can do this as well. I mean, don't. But yeah, bishop to d2 top engine move. All right. Counter-attacking the bishop, but we literally do not care. D takes e3. And now Black should absolutely play the move f takes e3 and ew. What is this? Like, can someone tell me what these pawns are? Like, these are so bad. Okay, but obviously, White sees, even though, like, yeah, White sees that fact. Wait a minute. Wait, Black hung the bishop. Oh, free bishop. Yes, I'm winning now. And remember the second trap of the, sorry, no, not the second, actually the second trap in the England gambit where I told you the queens will stare at each other. Yeah, it happens here again. This capture is played, and if the king takes, you lose your queen. Okay. So the move king to e2 is played. And now we're gonna take this knight and promote it. Wait a minute. Why did the eval bar drop that much? Well, because after queen takes d4, sorry, queen takes d8, king takes d8, rook takes g1. Yeah, materials equal, no one can castle, and I mean, yeah, these pawns are weak, but like, I mean, this pawn is weak, but like, yeah, this endgame is relatively equal. There's nothing to it really. So instead, we're actually still gonna take and promote it, but we're gonna promote it to a knight because this is check. And you know, there are a few ways that you want to keep defending the queen. First of all, rook takes does not work because of this skewer. Okay. So king e1, queen h4, check. If g3, you lose your rook like this, and after and really after either piece blocks, and yeah, you just die. I mean, you'll probably die even more. And actually, apparently, king d2 should be played. Okay, no, actually, even here, king d2 should be played. And then yeah, now white just, you know, black just develops, attacking the bishop, and you know, one day you're probably gonna bring your rook in, and then yeah, it's just a slaughter, and this knight is just alive. Apparently right now, white should play a move king c3, which is kind of funny. The king has replaced the square of the knight, and then you just come in and defend. And also, just a note, white could not have taken the knight here because you get forked. I mean, it's not even the best top engine move. Okay, because of bishop e2. And I mean, okay, yeah, the bishop was hanging, whatever. Shut up. Alright, no, this is just a trade, never mind. For a second, I thought that, you know, this is a fork, but I forgot that, I thought this was a fork, but, no, the queen defends the rook, so, you know, you actually take the bishop if they take a knight. Alright, yeah. Yeah, and, yeah, this position is really, really bad. Like, look at this, oh my god, ew, there are no pawns, there's, like, I guess, you know, white is start covering with their pieces, but then, like, you know, you can probably try and, like, enter. I don't really know how you're gonna play this, but, like, just a few ideas, I guess. And yeah, the king is really weak, and this knight is just here. Okay. So this is the Lascaux trap. Okay, so here's the next one, pins and needles. Alright, let's take a look at this one. Hang on, wait, let me see. How do I reset my board? What's pins and needles? Oh, I think I remember what this is. Alright, okay, yeah, no, so this one is, e4, e5, knight f3. Oh, actually, I forgot to explain what white did wrong in the Lascaux trap. Okay, let's go back to that position. Alright, so after this, take, push, white should not play a move e3. White should just play a move knight f3, attacking the pawn, and then, like, I don't know, after, c5 or knight c6, both really work. And then now do you play a move e3? Because now the bishop is blocked. And okay, let's just, and if the move knight c6 was played, you block the c pawn. Of course you don't play move e3, otherwise you're gonna, the same thing's gonna happen. All right, this, if you dare to take, again, you die, king e2, and it's actually not as bad because now you don't have the knight to take, but you are going to die. Alright, and I mean, yeah, you and also the bishop's that you actually also win the bishop, and this pawn is a thorn. And yeah, black wins. Alright, black is up 1 pawn. And this pawn is super far down. I mean, it's kind of annoying. I mean, probably white's gonna try and bring the rook in and like just try and promote on the back rank or something. I don't know. So yeah, otherwise, if white is scared, they can just take this pawn instead. That's also okay because you're trading a flank pawn for a central pawn. And yeah, okay. So next one, pins and needles. All right. Let's. Oops. It starts with the move e4, e6, d4, d5. Okay, this is the French defense. So black's attacking this pawn, and we're gonna defend the pawn by playing bishop to d3, which does not defend the pawn at all. Okay, this is called the Alpine Gambit. All right, this is not even that bad actually, because of the d takes e4, and then f3, take. What white can do here is to play the move. Now let me see if I can remember the trap a little bit. It's. Oh, I remember. I think it's knight. Wait, is it knight? Oh wait, no, it's actually this. Is it? Wait. Oh wait, no. It's not that. No. Sorry, it's after f3. The move knight f6. Yeah. And after knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Sorry. F takes e4. Knight takes e4. Now we can play the move bishop to d3. The knight is hanging, but but black tries to play the move queen to h4 check. Uh-oh, this is actually kind of dangerous. So you realize this. If we play the move g3, black would play the move knight takes g3, and if you take the knight, your rook will hang. Okay. So the only other option is to play something like king to e2, or and just promptly blunder your king to something like, I don't know, queen g4 check, and then a king e1, and then you die. But why am I say? But wait, isn't white supposed to win? Yes, indeed, g3. And yes, black's gonna play with knight takes g3. But we're not going to take the knight back because he's attacking our rook. We are not gonna take the knight back. No, we're going to play move bishop to f2. Now, if black takes our knight, we take their queen. And actually, the funny thing is there's no way to save this knight. Alright, so for instance, let's just say they play the move bishop here. Now we're gonna play the move knight to e2. Again, you cannot take the knight, otherwise your queen hangs. And yeah, unfortunately, there's just no other way to defend this knight. Apparently black should just develop, and you can just take this knight. And after bishop takes, and the queen has to go. Apparently queen takes d4, and yeah, white is up. Okay, this is really funny because black actually has 3 pawns for the piece, but because there's still so many pieces on the board. Okay, hang on. Because there's still so many pieces on the board, I mean, this pawn is also dead if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to get it. But I mean, actually not really. Like, you want to play with knight c3, and then actually this pawn is still kind of dead unless you play this stupid looking move. Alright, and yeah, because there's still so many pieces on the board, the piece would do better than the pawns. Alright, so what should black have done? Well, first of all, if you face an Alpine Gambit, like, I mean, one thing you can do is just accept it. I mean, it's not that great according to the engine. Like, okay, actually, no, it's still fine. It's still minus 0.4. And yeah, this is still okay. else, if you really wanted to play this line after takes, this is still good, but after this, you actually need to back up. You actually need to back up. Apparently, engine says c5 is also a move, because if bishop takes knight, oh, then queen h4 check, and then you win the bishop back. And actually no, this is even deadlier than that, because if g3, not only will you lose your bishop, you'll also, I mean you don't actually lose your rook, but it's really bad, like queen f3, and then you just trade the queens, and yeah. Alright, black is just up a pawn. Really nice tactic over there. And or you can just play the, or you can just oops, hang on. Or another thing you can just do is to back a knight up. I mean, it's not as good, but it still works. And yeah, just be careful of this trap here, because you know, oftentimes if you see a bishop here, you can probably come here and pin. Like that tactic just now does not work because of this pin. Be careful of it, because it can also appear sometimes. And so yeah, that's what you should do. And also yeah, why play the French defense? Why play the French defense when stuff like e5 exists? And if you wanted to be stupid enough, f5. No, I'm just kidding. Don't play f5. D5, d6, c6. I don't know. There are a lot of moves you can play here, but why play? Why like I don't understand why play the French defense. All right. So here's the next one. It's called illegal checkmate. No, it's not actually illegal. Because this trap isn't. I think some of us may already know it. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. Not knight C6 actually. D6. This is a Philidor's defense. I mean, you just want to get this kind of configuration. Knight C3. And then like knight C6, bishop C4, bishop G4. H3, and in this position, white should absolutely take the knight. But if white decides to preserve the bishop, you get hit with this. Knight takes e5. And the engine just says, take this, and then take this. Okay, but that's stupid, right? Like, after this, obviously the thing you should do is to take the queen. It's checkmate into bishop takes f7, king e7. That's the only move you can play. There are no other moves. And then knight to d5, checkmate. Well, this is more of a checkmating pattern. Alright, this is more of a checkmating pattern because you can also kind of see this kind of checkmate in some other openings. Sorry if you can see in the Goring Gambit. You should check out the Goring Gambit. I think it's labeled as a C cadet mate. Like SEACADET, C cadet mate. On chess.com. I don't really think it's an actual opening, it's just there. Where you can sacrifice the queen. I mean, sometimes there's a queen sacrifice, sometimes there isn't, and then you can get this checkmate. Or like, you know, yeah, and with these three pieces here, and the king in the middle. And you can't tell me this isn't beautiful. Like, this bishop is just here, and oh, this knight is hanging. Oh wait, that's check. Oh, you don't have anywhere to go. Oh no, you're dead. Yeah. And this is known as a Legal's trap, which is spelled as legal, because I don't think that's an English name. So yeah, illegal checkmate. Haha, I'm so funny. Please laugh. All right. Next trap. All right. This one I don't really know if a lot of players actually play into this line, but from what I know, I think this was actually a game between two actual grandmasters. I think Fabiano is playing the white pieces and Alireza is playing the black pieces, or is it the other way around? I think Fabiano caught Alireza in this trap. It starts at c4, c6. Okay, and the point of c6 is that you actually want to play the move d5, but this is really bad because after take you're giving up white is giving up a c pawn for black's d pawn. So instead of that, we go c6, so we can play d5, and you know let's say white does nothing, you just d5, and then if you take, you still get the d pawn here. Okay, knight f3, d5, g3. Planning to play bishop to g2 in the future. Well, black says, all right, I'm just gonna attack your knight right now. You're gonna move. You're gonna move it, or else I'm gonna take it. And so white says, okay, knight e5, attacking the bishop, and bishop f5. And you realize something about these two bishop moves that moving the bishop created the pawn on b7 is weak, so white exploits by playing the move queen to b3, attacking the pawn. Black has a few ways to defend it. You can play queen to c7. If you're really stupid, you can play the move bishop to yeah, I mean, if you're really stupid, alright, don't play that move. Why would you? Alright? And then, but the final way to defend the pawn is to play the move queen to b6. Now c takes c5. And now black trades the queens, which actually is the best move. A takes b3. Okay, the pawns are a bit weird. These two pawns are double and isolated. And here, apparently the engine says that white should play that black should play a really stupid looking move. Bishop takes b1. I know a lot of I think like Levy talks about this a lot. Like what the hell is bishop takes b1? You don't want your dominant bishop to take the knight here. But I mean, I guess the point is after rook takes, look at this rook. It's really stupid compared to when it was here. It could actually see the entire file. Okay, yeah, so instead of this, black thinks he's clever and plays the move bishop to e4, forking the pawn and the rook. So, seeing that the rook is hanging, white can play the move d takes c6. Wait, that hangs a rook, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, but what we're gonna do is to hang the other rook. Wait, but the point is, if you take d7, there's no way to stop promotion. You could not play it here because a knight c6. Okay. So yeah, you had to sacrifice a rook to deflect the rook away from the defense of the back rank. I mean, white in this one should just play knight takes c6 and give their king, and pretty much give the king. I mean, like knight d8, and then like I don't know. Apparently you can play rook takes d8. What the hell? Oh no, because rook takes d8 there's a fork. Okay. After king e8, take. And if not, and if take push, you cannot stop promotion. Knight c6, and then you just queen, and then you die. I mean, you don't die immediately if you play e6. And then you can play the move c takes b8 queen, and then you just pick up like this rook as well. I mean, apparently engine says queen c7, and then the king runs, and the king just runs and runs and runs until the king just dies. King d6, bishop f4. Yeah, I'm not gonna play the full line, but the king is dead after this. The king cannot survive. And here, another thing to note is that the queen is more powerful than both the rooks, because the okay, usually you want the two rooks to be connected or like connected here or something like with no pawns or pieces in the way of the rooks. Yeah, but this rook is dead. And yeah, that's really funny actually. Like you cannot stop promotion. And the even funnier thing was this was an actual game played by Fabiano against Ali Reza, which you would probably have never expected that. Fabiano just resigned. Sorry, Ali Reza just resigned here. Yeah, this is really funny. All right, yeah. I honestly don't know what to say to end of most of these. All right, and here's the final one. All right, we're gonna start with a normal opening again. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3, knight f6. This is all mainline theory. Apparently you can play the move d3, d3. I think that's the top engine move, but I prefer to play the move d4. If they take, you can take the pawn, and wait a minute. After bishop b4 check, white should probably play the move bishop to d2. Not really. No. No. Okay, no. White should not play the move bishop d2. Sorry, no. Knight c3. Knight takes c4. Wait. White just lost a pawn. Yeah, but about that, castles, we're gonna play it in gambit style. We're gonna gambit the e5 pawn, and after knight takes, apparently you should play bishop takes. After knight takes, pawn takes, and bishop takes, and we attack the rook. So the first thing we should think is, okay, rook b1. That's like the only move. No, 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 no. The move to play is bishop to a3. Amazing. This rook cannot be taken because otherwise rook to e1 check, and you're dead. If you play knight e7, I'm just taking it with check. So first of all, what black should do is to sacrifice the queen. Take this, take, and apparently not to play this yet, but to play the move queen to e1 check for whatever reason before going back to take. I don't know why, but I don't know why the king has to be here. Like I would rather I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand why you want the king on f8. I mean, I guess because this is the material is like because material like we're down to just a few pieces left, I guess. But in this position is plus 4.8 because, well, even though white is down 2 pawns, well, white has a bishop, a knight, and a queen, whereas black has 2 rooks and a bishop. And if you count the material, queen and rook are about equal. Black is down about slightly less than a piece because the 2 rooks are worth a bit more. But yeah, this rook is like not gonna come out because the king is on. Yeah, the king is here, and there's no development as well. So what? So actually, all this up till here was good, but first of all, if you really wanted to take, you should not take. You should play the move d5. And but the better move is to take with the bishop. So after apparently white should play the move d5 first. But okay, let's just say b takes c3. Yeah, now you play the move d5, and now the knight is anchored. I mean, I'm not sure if this gambit is really good. I have not taken a look into the actual gambit. It looks okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm only 1,000. I am not here to tell you if the gambit is good or not. My only goal here is to tell you, oh, these are opening traps that you should be careful of. All right. So yeah, castles. That's really interesting. Just saying, okay, we're gonna give you another pawn. Oops, we're gonna give you another pawn. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And yeah, so that is the 10th trap. Okay, I just realized I mixed up 9 and 10. I'm stupid, but shut up. Alright, just shut up, Alright, but yeah, okay, I'm not even gonna bother re-recording this because I am lazy and I don't feel like doing anything right now because I am just a bit too, yeah, mental health issues, blah 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 blah. Alright, so here's a bonus one. So if you're tired of seeing this, I think you should know the first few moves. Alright, we're playing this to defend the pawn. We're playing this to defend the pawn because the queen's attacking it. You can actually also play this, but you just hang the pawn. But I mean, you do get a lot of tempos against the queen. Like, let's just say knight c3. Like, that's one of the moves that they play, knight c6, and yeah, the queen has to dance. Okay, but we're just gonna take a look at. Oops, that's the wrong move. We're just gonna take a look at the main line real quick. Bishop c4, g6. Queen here, and I'd just like to show you a quick trappy line to absolutely destroy your opponents. Knight f6. They can try a lot of moves now, but one of the moves that they try to play sometimes is the move g4. If you do literally nothing, there's g5. If you do literally nothing again, and you realize, oh, I cannot actually move the knight, because if I move the knight, because if you move the knight, I mean, this hangs the knight in one move, alright, but you get mated, alright. So what we're gonna do is to play a move knight to d5, knight to d4, attacking the queen. The queen has to go here or here, but the most popular move is to go here, defending against the fort on c2, and we're gonna play the move d5, unleashing the bishop, and after take, the queen is kind of trapped. So you have to block the check with one of these two pieces, but after something like, but now, actually you can also play bishop e2. But now, one of the moves that white can try is a move f3. Yeah, okay, this is, yeah, I know. Yeah, these two pieces are hanging. Wait, okay, so first of all, you actually cannot take this knight because unless you lose a queen. Actually, apparently there's queen h4 first. Oh, just to deflect the king away from the defense of the queen. So this actually, so this only for one piece instead of two pieces. So you have to take this way if you want to take something. No, queen h4 check, move, and then checkmate. And no, I'm not even gonna tell you how to prevent this because please don't play a Scholar's Mate. Like, why would you? Yeah, so yeah, those are 10 chess traps that you have to know. Or rather that you should know about. And yeah. I think that's about it for this video. Yeah, I know some of these traps, they're like really stupid, like the Alpin Gambit one, with the white pieces. Alright, this one's really stupid. I know, some people may not even, I know, you'll probably never see this on your game, but you probably know about this idea, not this one, so that they cannot take your rook if you can. And yeah. And I mean, there's still a few more, like the Blackburn Shilling Gambit, which is the one where you shouldn't steal all the coins. And yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, do all the YouTube stuff. Leave a comment down below. If you've made it this far, comment down below if you have fallen for any of these traps, or like, what's your elo if you actually fell for these traps. Sorry, or what your elo was when you fell for these traps. I'm just curious. All right. I don't actually know. I personally I fell for that. For the Let me see if I can find it. I fell for the uh. I personally fell for this trap where knight f3, this and then this. Yeah, I fell for this when I was like 600 elo. And yeah, I just like to hear about some of you falling for these traps. All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye.